Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Bhagavad Gita class. Today is Sunday, 30th August 2015. We first start with our prayers. Om Ajnana-timirandasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Dhatitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kalamaya Dadati Swapantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagradatam Sahajaranam Tam Sajivam Sahajaranam Sahajaranam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Krishna He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Radha Kanta Namostute Sapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Devi Pranamami Hari Panchakalpatarubhyasya Vipatintubhyakevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shri Namo Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayine Dhamdaya Nagara Grama Tarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Today we are going to read continuing from second chapter. Today we are taking Sloka number 39. एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्व इमां शृणु
एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
बुद्धया युक्तो यथा पार्थ बुद्धया युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि
बुद्ध्ययुक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहस्यसि
The is half buddhya. एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहस्यसि
एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहस्यसि
सुनील प्रभु
ईशा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे तो इमां शृणु
ईशा ते
विहिता
विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे
इमां शृणु
त्वयिमां शृणु
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि
बुद्ध्या
बुद्धिर्यो
युक्तो यया
पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहस्यसि
कमलिनी माता जी
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहस्यसि
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि रश्मि माता जी
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु एषां ते पिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वम् इमां शृणु
एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्म बन्धं प्रहास्यसि
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि सीता माता जी you are on your XT today I think so okay Radhika Raman Prabhu
एषा ते विहत्सङ्ख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वम् इमां शृणु
एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
बुद्धियुक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रयस्यसि
बुद्ध्या युक्तो
यया पार्थ
Radhika Raman Prabhu Radhika Raman Prabhu
Prabhuji is not here.
okay no problem Dolly Mata ji
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी
Hare Krishna
ईशा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
एषा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्वयिमां शृणु
शृणु
बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहस्यसि
बुद्ध्यायुक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहस्यसि
सौम्या माता जी. I saw you. Yeah.
एषा ते अभिहिता सांख्ये.
2 lines.
What, Prabhuji?
2 lines at a time.
Okay. एषा ते अभिहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे त्व इमां शृणु. बुद्ध्या युक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि.
कर्मबन्धं प्रहस्यसि
प्रेमा वर्धिनी माता जी.
कौन सा पढ़ूं वो भी प्रभु जी?
30.
9 प्रभु जी.
Huh? Oh, sorry, 39. 39.
ईशा ते अभिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे इमां शृणु.
ईशा ते विहिता सांख्ये बुद्धिर्योगे
इमां शृणु.
बुद्ध्यायुक्तो यया पार्थ कर्मबन्धं प्रहास्यसि.
बुद्ध्यायुक्तो
कर्मबन्धं प्रहस्यसि.
Thank you. Word by word meaning. Esha,
Esha,
एषा
all this.
all this.
All this
Say
ते
say
unto you.
unto you.
Abhihita,
Abhihita
describe.
describe
Sankhye,
सांख्ये
by analytical study.
by
critical study
Buddhi,
buddhi
intelligence.
intelligence.
Yoge,
yogi
in work without fruitive result.
In work
without future results
To
to but
but
Imam,
imam
this.
this
Shrunu,
shrunu
just here.
just here
just
Vidya,
Buddhya,
buddhya
by
Buddhya by
intelligence
Yuktaha,
Yuktaha
counted.
intelligence.
Yaya,
yaya
by which.
by
By
which
which
Partha,
partha
son of Pritha.
o son of Pritha
son of
Karma bandham,
karma bandham
bondage of reaction.
bondage of reaction.
action
Prahasyasi,
rahasyasi
you can be released from.
you can be released from
You can be
There are some few words which are significant here. We should all try to remember them. Of course, buddhi comes 2 times, buddhi and buddhya. So buddhi is intelligence and buddhya is by intelligence. Yukta is very important. Yukta, doubted. I'll explain that. And then prahasyasi. You can be released from, you can be liberated. Thus far, I have described this knowledge by you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Pritha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of works. Thus far,
that
I have described this knowledge
I have described this knowledge
to you
to you
through analytical study.
through analytical study.
Now listen,
Now listen
as I explain it
as I explain it
in terms of working without fruitive results.
in terms of
working
results.
O son of Pritha,
O son
son
of
of
Pritha,
when you act in such knowledge,
when you act in knowledge,
you can free yourself
you
you
can
can
free
free
yourself
from the bondage of works.
from the
from the
bondage
bondage
of works.
Krishna is now changing gear. First he talked about analytical study. Then he talked about, of course, about sakama karma. He talked about papa and punya, all that is discussed. And now he is taking Arjuna to a different level. And he's saying that, he says, so far I described to you what is soul, what is super soul, everything, the relationships, all that, by analytical, by Sankhya. And now he says, I am going to tell you about Nishkama Karma or Buddhir Yoga. So we can see here Krishna is clearly indicating what is real Buddhi. The real intelligence is to dovetail. He says also, yoge yukta. Yoga and yukta. Yoga is also linked, yukta is also inclusive, Yukta doesn't mean, viyukta means separated. Yukta means together. And the whole philosophy of Krishna consciousness is nothing but yukta vairagya. Yukta vairagya. You're taking renunciation, not a dry renunciation, but shushka vairagya now. Yukta vairagya. Meaning, don't use things for your own things. Use it for Krishna's service. Of course, that doesn't mean that you don't use it for yourself at all. Use it for Krishna's service, and then under his order, under his directions, under the direction of the spiritual master, you can use it for yourself also. Not exclusive. Not exclusive. That's the key. And what will happen by that, he says? You will be freeing yourself from the bondage of works. Prahasyasi. Karma bandham. So he's making it very clear that karma without this Buddhi Yoga is going to be a cause of bondage. Right? We know it. Whether you do a good karma, bad karma, ugly karma, beautiful karma, whatever karma, you are still bound. But the moment we start working for Krishna, in Krishna consciousness, there is a whole different ball game. Everything becomes spiritual, and then you are no more. That's what Krishna is going to describe in the next, and the super duper benefit is going to describe in the next verse. 2.40, very, very popular. But then 2.40 is popular, but why it is, from where the 2.40 came? That came from here, 2.39. But this is where Krishna is telling Arjuna action. This is an action point. This is not just an advice or just talking, analyzing, etc. So Sankhya means, Sankhya comes from Sankhya. We discussed this before, but again I am repeating. Analytical study. That means breaking things into smallest little possible things, studying each one of them, seeing the pros and cons of that, then reducing the options, but choosing the one with the best positive results, and then taking a decision. That's how the whole management system works. But then they get stuck at that. That okay, you analyze, you found out what is good, what is bad, etc. But now what? That's where Krishna consciousness comes. Now, okay, now you reject whatever is not favorable, you reject it, be firm. Whatever is favorable, you accept it and be firm. You become a Yukta Vairagi. That's what Krishna ultimately has told. So let's see now. So there are some very, very wonderful commentary. Because this particular subject matter, like many people, many commentators on Bhagavad Gita, they call it as the second chapter as Sankhya Yoga. But you can see there are 72 shlokas here and we are still only at 39. And Krishna has already said that I finished Sankhya Yoga. He finished it in first 30, 11 to 30 actually. And then he talked about Sakama Karma and now he's talking of Nishkama Karma. So he's talking different. He's not talking Sankhya Yoga anymore. Although Sankhya Yoga is important, but it's not the end of everything. That's the point. But there are philosophies which totally based on Sankhya Yoga. So they just analyze everything and then reject Krishna. That's where the problem starts. And that's why Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, he named this chapter as Summary of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita summarized, because everything is going to be here, Krishna is going to talk about Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Dhyana Yoga, everything. Bit by bit, and then he is going to, of course, expand in every chapter. So now, let's go to the translation. We did that, okay? Just now we did that. So let's, as I said, we will go into the commentaries and then try to understand this a little more. Start with Sunil Prabhu.
Sankhya means that by which true knowledge of things, Vastu Tattvam, is perfectly samak revealed kayate. In other words, Sankhya means a perfect process of knowing. The intelligence Isha resulting from that process has been explained. Now hear about the intelligence resulting from Bhakti Yoga Yoga, which will now be explained. Equipped with this intelligence which is absorbed in the subject of Bhakti Yoga, you will give up samsara karma bandha.
So this is short commentary, just explaining every word there, The word Sankhya comes from Samak Khyayate, perfectly revealed. Because when we analyze, you go into the depth, right? That's why it is perfectly revealed. That means nothing is left out for imagination. And then what happens once you understood, then he says, then you go to the next step, which is Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga is non-different from Bhakti Yoga. Buddhi Yoga doesn't mean Jnana Yoga. Buddhi Yoga doesn't mean material intelligence. No. It's not, you are not getting some degree of postdoc or this or that, double doctorate. No. Nothing to do with that. Of course, we are going to, as he says, it's going to be explained. So when we have this Yukta Buddhi, then you start doing the practice of what? Bhakti Yoga. And then because of that, what happens? You can give up this karma bandham. Not otherwise. Jnana Yoga doesn't guarantee. Karma doesn't guarantee. Karma Yoga guarantees, but not Karma Yoga. Karma. Because there is a vast difference between karma and Karma Yoga. People are totally ignorant about this. They always think that karma is Karma Yoga. They say, oh, Krishna says karma, so I am doing my karma. No, but that's not true. Yoga means linking. That's we have to again and again and again. Because this word yoga is so much spread all over. Everybody is talking about yoga. Now there is an International Yoga Day every year. But again, if you look at that International Day, what did they do? Everybody did maybe they pronounce some mantras as doing that. Not everywhere, because some people are against the mantra. They say, no, we don't want to do mantra business, but we can do the exercise. And that they call yoga. So that's why Bhagavad Gita is important, because it differentiates nicely between each type of yoga, and then Krishna gives his final conclusion also, which is the best, which is more practical, which is more, achievable. Like last Sunday, Sunil Prabhu asked about the Bhakti Yoga discount. So that's exactly what we are going to study slowly. Dolly Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Arjuna's proposal not to fight was based on sense gratification. Forgetting his prime duty, he wanted to cease fighting because he thought that by not killing his relatives and kinsmen, he would be happier than by enjoying the kingdom after conquering his cousins and brothers, the son of Dhritarashtra. In both ways, the basic principles were for sense gratification.
So what does this mean? This means that anything done for sense gratification, no matter how logical that is, no matter how wonderful it sounds, no matter people saying wow, wow, etc. for that, but if it is ultimately for sense gratification, our sense gratification, then that has lost all its value. And that's why, I was just telling some time back that intelligence for the sake of intelligence, your IQ may be 100 and whatever, 40 or I don't know what the highest there. But that doesn't make you a devotee. That doesn't make you qualified for rahasyasi. Doesn't qualify you, So that is nothing. That's why even a simple devotee who had just heard from his Guru Maharaj that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and we must serve him. We are the servant and he is the master, and just, serve him with that attitude. He is far better. Krishna is going to be more inclined to invite him to Krishna Loka other than some dry speculator. This Sankhya is a big thing. Sankhya Yoga was spoken twice. One by Kapila Deva, the son of Devahuti. Krishna himself comes as Kapila Deva. And he also, if you read that, then it's nothing but, pushing you towards Krishna, pushing you towards devotion. And then there was an, Prabhupada is very, very upset with that other, so-called Kapila, who propagated this Mayavadi impersonalist Nirvisheshavada theory of Sankhya, where, dry, completely. No talk of relationship, no talk of God, no talk of service, nothing. Just simply saying, okay, this is soul, this is the size, this is this, and then negating everything else. Soumya Mataji.
Supreme Lord is active and that he creates by looking over the Prakriti. This is accepted in the Vedas and in the Gita. The description in the Vedas indicates that the Lord glanced over the Prakriti or nature and impregnated it with atomic individual souls. All these individuals are working in the material world for sense gratification, and under the spell of material energy, they are thinking of being enjoyers. This mentality is dragged to the last point of liberation when the living entity wants to become one with the Lord.
So this is summarizing what is happening around us. 90% are busy in the first part, working in the material world for sense gratification. And then out of that, there are some, and they are all thinking that they are the enjoyers, they are the owners, they are the, my house, my this, my that, like that. And then out of that, there are some who want to go higher. By what? By trying to become Krishna. By merging, losing their identity, so-called losing of their identity. And then, so they are also equally in a problem, They are also, because why the problem? Because the ultimate bliss of serving Krishna will be not available. We are those who are part of Nectar of Devotion and Bhagavatam, they know very well. We discussed this in and out. We discussed how the Lord glanced over the Mahatattva, the agitation took place, and then how the creation took place, and how the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu entered into each planet, and then Kshirodakshaya Vishnu comes and he enters into each body along with the Atma as a Paramatma. So the whole thing is there, available. Now, you can deny it, you can accept it. The facts will not change. Just if you deny, it's not going to change anything. Rashmi Mataji.
Krishna will now tell him about the working process in Buddhi Yoga or Karma Yoga, or in other words, the practice of devotional service only for the sense gratification of the Lord. This Buddhi Yoga is clearly explained in chapter 10, verse 10, as being direct communication with the Lord, who is sitting as Paramatma in everyone's heart. But such communion does not take place without devotional service.
So the ultimate is actually the Atma meeting with Paramatma. Atma recognizing Paramatma, recognizing its own constitutional position, and then acting accordingly. And that cannot happen without bhakti, right? Just cannot happen. Karma Yoga is another interesting thing. I always used to think that why there is a difference between this and that, Karma Yoga and then Karma and Karma Yoga. So how Karma Yoga is Bhakti Yoga, for example? I was just thinking like that. Always I used to question, I remember. But then after discussing with many devotees, senior Vaishnavas, then I understood that it's non-different. See, what is karma? Activity, right? Why do we activity? To satisfy somebody. Either satisfy yourself, or you may say, no, I'm not satisfying myself, I'm doing it for my family, my community, society, this and that. Why? Why you want to do for them? Because I love them. Right? You do seva only under two conditions. Either you are forced to do it, or you do it on your own. Forced to do it is for, filling the belly, job, student studies because he knows that why if you don't do it, then you don't get a good job. Ultimately, it all boils down to money or money-related thing, right? But the moment we change the consciousness, then this communion starts taking place. Then you start recognizing. Then your interest in non-yukta vairagya things starts diminishing slowly. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Some people do very fast, act very fast. Like a small child brought up in Krishna consciousness at the age of 5, a person comes and there is another boy next to him and he gives him a candy to both of them. What is the difference now between the two kids? One kid takes the candy, he takes thank you uncle, auntie, whatever, or if he's good mannered. If he's not good mannered, he just snacks and just snatches and that's it. This devotee child asks, is it offered to Krishna? It's not artificial. This is natural, because he's been seeing that everything that in his house he gets is first offered to Krishna. And even sometimes the child wants to eat something but he has been told that no, this is first to be offered to Krishna. You will get it, don't worry. But it's to be offered to Krishna. So he's asking that question. And this person, if he's a non-devotee, he becomes a little disturbed. What is this? A small kid, man, come on, you eat your candy. I brought a candy for you. Be happy. What is this offered or not offered? What is this offering? Like, so it's a totally different thing. And that's what we mean by being brought up in Krishna consciousness. That's what we mean by becoming a bhakti yogi, like, because your consciousness changes. Everything that you do, which looks normal, which is actually the real normal. But then people are scared of doing that because they think that, oh, if I start doing that, then this will happen, that will happen. And all of us, whenever we meet people, whenever they say something, just tell them you are not going to lose anything. What you may lose is your greed and anger and lust and some nonsensical habits. That's all. Nothing else you are going to lose. You are not going to lose your goodness. You are not going to lose your honesty. You are not going to lose your, well-mannered thing, good etiquettes, proper manners. Not going to lose if you become a devotee. Kamalini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One should therefore understand that Buddhi Yoga means to work in Krishna consciousness in the full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. One who works for the satisfaction of the Lord only, however difficult such work may be, is working under the principles of Buddhi Yoga and finds himself always in transcendental bliss.
Is it true or not?
Yes,
Are you
Prabhuji.
seeing this happening or not?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Right? So it's nothing, as I said, it's not some artificially imposed something, come on, become devotee, because if I make one extra devotee, then I will get some bonus from my organization or something. We don't have membership drive like that. I mean, we have this leadership Sangha every 2 years in Mayapur, it will be again 2016. And I am part of the committees, which arranges all these programs and all that. So 2014, the theme was, because we choose a theme. The theme was more devotees, happier devotees. So while discussing, this point came many times that, okay, but just you make a devotee, more devotee, what will happen? First it was like, make more devotees. Every organization wants to grow. But then some of us objected. We said, no, just growing is not good. Not good enough. And then so what do you expect a devotee to be? Oh, we want him to be happy, happier. Everybody is happy, some are more or less, but we want happier devotees. That means when they come into Krishna consciousness, they should really feel the joy of it. So here, the Acharya clarifies, Buddhi Yoga means Krishna consciousness, to work in Krishna consciousness. In what? How? Full bliss and knowledge of devotional service. Not, whimsically do something. That's why we learn. We study nectar of devotion, we study nectar of instruction, we study Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and so on. Why? So that we execute it with knowledge. One place Krishna tells Arjuna, you cut the knot of ignorance with the sword of knowledge. So knowledge helps, not that we are not against Jnana Yoga. We are not against it. We are not against Karma Yoga. We are not against anything for that matter. All we are saying is, use it correctly, and then it can become really a good tool in your hand. Okay, anybody in the group left out?
Hare Krishna, Bhaiya.
Okay, padhiye.
Yeah. A brief introduction as to the correct understanding concerning the eternality of the immortal soul that has just been described is now concluded, and the path of actions known as Karma Yoga, which is the science of the individual consciousness attaining communion with the ultimate consciousness, is now being introduced.
So this shloka is like a preface. Krishna is saying, Now I am going to tell you. He's not told anything yet. He said, now I am going to tell you about Buddhi Yoga, which will lead you to Prahasyasi, which will lead you to liberation from bondage, karma bandham. That's all. He's not talking of, liberation from the world, this, that. No, liberation from karma bandham. That is what we are wanting, liberation. We are not interested in any other liberation. We are just interested in liberation from karma bandham. We don't want to get into this cycle again and again. Rishika. Not there. She was there. Okay, Sunil Prabhu.
The wisdom of Sankhya, being the ability to understand the distinction of spirit from matter, is to the realization of the eternal soul. And in essence, the Sankhya philosophy has been given in Smriti. The yoga method of the individual consciousness perceiving and then subsequently attaining communion with the ultimate consciousness and the accompanying state which manifests has been revealed in the Bhagavad Purana. Other than this, nothing else has been referred to as the Sankhya philosophy or the science of yoga. But in other contexts, the word karma yoga has been used and along with Pancharatra has been named as a method of liberation, method for liberation.
So this is another wonderful practical analysis of the whole thing. Sankhya philosophy, he says, is distinguishing between matter and spirit. What is matter? What is spirit? Okay. Once you have this realization, then he says, it's not only because Sankhya generally is claimed by the people in Shruti, the Vedic scholars, as theirs. They say the Smriti is only stories and this and that. But now the Acharya says that what is Bhagavad? Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Purana. There's nothing but practical example of Buddhi Yoga, Karma Yoga, right? And he gives a couple of things. He says, if you do this Karma Yoga along with Pancharatra, of course, somebody may say, no, I want to do Vaisheshika. It's okay. This Acharya's lineage, they go into Pancharatra. Pancharatra is the system of doing the worship. And in the worship, the rules and regulations and everything. Okay. So, although Krishna doesn't say Pancharatra, but this Acharya is giving an example that, okay, along with your Karma Yoga, if you start using Pancharatra, then you become qualified for liberation. So what is the key here? The practical aspect of it. Simply discussing Krishna and then not doing anything about him is not going to, it will give some result because you are hearing, some seva is there. But then, just not practicing at all is not the good solution. Dolly Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In the Vedic scriptures, there is always a holistic understanding and comprehensive appreciation present. Thus, there is no contradiction unless one is in possession of faulty perceptions. It is always seen that due to partial understanding, an incorrect interpretation is made due to not acquiring sufficient knowledge. In the Chitra Shikhandi Shastra, the similarity between Pancharatra and Vedas has been well documented.
Same Acharya, continuing. So he says in the Vedic scripture there are two aspects. Holistic understanding, meaning understanding from the point of view of Shastra, and comprehensive appreciation. What you understand, you appreciate, and then you act upon that, See, sometimes what happens, like why I'm saying this, because sometimes, I'm just giving an example, so don't have to be accurate example, but it will help. You go to a pravachan discourse. Somebody, you heard about him. He's a great orator. You go there and he's using big Shakespearean words and fantastic examples, etc., etc. So then you get impressed. You get impressed, right? Oh, fantastic! Wow! People clap, and he knows exactly where to get the claps. He knows everything. So there is a appreciation also, but in the appreciation, sometimes the holistic understanding is missing. The person in the flow is saying that, so if you remove this vasana from your minds, then you can become God, because God means man without vasana, and something like that, some understanding like that. But he's telling it so nicely. Then what's the problem then? It's a faulty perception. Your holistic understanding is missing. If both were together, then it becomes real, because then people think that, okay, now is the time for me to get into it. Otherwise, you come out and say, okay, nice, very nice lecture. Everybody's wow. And then from there, directly they go to your, kanda bhaji and this and that, and tea, coffee being served, and liquor being served, and everything is happening nice. And this happens, please believe me. This happens. People call somebody to give a lecture like that, and then after that is a big party. And that present person is also in the party, and then he's saying, oh, no, it doesn't affect us at all. Whatever we want, we can do. And then, if you remember Prabhupada, in Bhagavatam especially, when we are reading that, many times Prabhupada says, lesser intelligent, people with poor fund of knowledge. Why? Because of partial understanding or incorrect interpretation. Partial knowledge. You know a little, and then like people, average Indian knows a little about Bhagavad Gita, and they just think that he is the master in Bhagavad Gita. He just keeps on throwing some few shlokas here and there. And here the Acharya says that this similarity between Pancharatra and the Vedas. So Pancharatra is not devoid of Vedas. It's not something. This is something different. It's nothing to do with this. No. They say it has been well documented. So we go by the Shastra. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. We have to take all the three into consideration. Okay. Swamya Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Also, in all cases, the Sankhya philosophy and... Yes, Prabhuji?
Go ahead. Go
also,
ahead.
in all cases, okay, described as methods for liberation from the material existence. This is quite proper because spiritual knowledge is the only means of salvation, and various methods have been delineated in the Vedic scriptures regarding this. If attainment of salvation can become known by any method.
So he says, if any method of salvation is available, that is a spiritual knowledge, right? Ultimately, the goal is salvation. But because we know, so far at least we have not come across something which is not based on Vedic. If it is not Vedic, at least it is based on Vedic. Vedas are the origin of all the knowledge, right? So we can conclude, because Our conclusion, of course, has no meaning because it has been already concluded by the great Acharya that spiritual knowledge is the only means. By spiritual practice, only you can get salvation. There is no other, not by excessive drinking, not by playing, gambling, this, that, you cannot. We don't even know the spelling of what is moksha, right? Of course, somebody may bring a liquor called moksha and then say, hey, you take moksha and you will be liberated, something like that. So, we have to be very careful. Radhika Raman Prabhu.
Equal importance is also given to both Jnana Yoga, Jnana knowledge and Sankhya. By yoga, both these two become united. Therefore, yoga is the means. Seekers of truth have determined that yoga is the precursor to Sankhya, as given in the Shabda Nirnaya.
So, Jnana and Sankhya, they are almost same because Jnana means what? Knowledge, and Sankhya means what? Knowledge, because by analyzing you get knowledge, right? But yoga is the one which binds, because yoga is the one which binds everybody, binds everything. Only thing is, again and again, we have to, sorry for that, I have to repeat that is, linking that with something useless is no good. That has to be linked only with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, only with the Supreme Person. Then only unstable. Okay. I'm sorry if there is some interruption because I just got a message that some problem. Okay. Last two. Radhika Raman Prabhu, you can read this also.
In the Bhagavad Gita, war is recommended as desirable for upholding dharma or righteousness. And in this way, according to the prescribed duties of Kshatriya, is a means of salvation when it is said, karma bandham parahasasi. So it should be understood in this light, and there should be no discrepancy between what has been intended in the original Sankhya philosophy or the Ashtanga Yoga system and what has been related in Bhagavad Gita, as there is factually no contradiction.
Beautifully put. That simply is Sankhya, and you're talking about Sankhya, Ashtanga Yoga, and then so only that is the means. What is this war and all that? How can somebody be liberated in the war? Because Krishna says, right, that if you win, we saw the two bonus points. That if you win, you will enjoy and still go back. And if you lose, you will go back. So either way you go. Either way you will go. But there is no Shastra here. There is no Sankhya philosophy here. Of course, Sankhya philosophy is there, but there is no such practicing Sankhya. Arjuna say, okay, now Krishna, let's sit here and keep discussing this. I'm enjoying this more. This discussion, our dialogue. Why we should bother about other things, like come on, war and this and that. Let's do this. This is better. No, but Krishna did not favor that. He said, no, that's okay. That I'm just telling you what to do. That's all. We are sitting here just so that you hear from me and then act upon that. So, a result will be same. Krishna is saying, I'm assuring you result will be same. That's real reassurance for a devotee, right? That by practicing bhakti yoga, Krishna is reassuring that you'll get the result. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about, that you must read this Rig Veda and Yajurveda and this Upanishad, that Upanishad. Okay, if you have time, you can do that. But even if you don't do it, but you do your chanting properly and do your puja properly and then hear Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, you are still qualified. Okay, the last one. Who wants to have it? One volunteer can start reading.
Having instructed the true knowledge of the soul as being distinctly different from the physical body, and seeing that this knowledge has still not been firmly embedded in Arjuna's heart, Lord Krishna reiterates this truth again in order to illustrate that this knowledge never becomes firmly embedded without practice of the means, which is yoga. To do this, he introduces the yoga path of selfless actions as the means to this end.
So as we said in the beginning, Krishna introduces Nishkama Karma or Buddhi Yoga here. He has distinguished the soul, soul from matter, body and soul. He has told everything. So he sees Arjuna, that Arjuna has understood that, but now he is not knowing what to do next. Okay, I understood. Now what next? So Krishna is now introducing. First is tackling Arjuna at his level only, by talking of Papa and Punya. And he must be seeing Arjuna is nodding, yes, yes. Now I am understanding Krishna. So now he is coming to the real point of Nishkama Yoga. It's still not the highest. Please try to understand. Nishkama Karma is still not the highest. We are going to go much higher than this. But it's not a bad beginning. At least it's the next step. Okay. So, thank you very much. I'd like to stop here. And I hope we could achieve something today. Now, if you have any question, comment, we can take it. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Haribol.
Prabhuji, can you please clarify the difference between Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga?
In the absolute term, there is no difference. In the absolute term, there is no difference. But what happens? We are so much attached to karma that sometimes whatever we are doing, we think is yoga. And the bhakti elements are not necessarily present. Like, for example, a person may be engaged in his work, and the result of that he is offering to Krishna. So he is thinking that, yes, this is karma yoga, I am offering my results. So coming back to the question of your own question last week. Remember? I just described the same thing, that yes, so karma yoga is at a lower level. That at least, okay, if nothing is there, at least karma yoga, okay, do your karma for me, Krishna says, But in bhakti, the highest goal is Atma Nivedana. In karma, that is not the highest goal. In karma, it is, just offering your fruits of your activity to Krishna. And in bhakti yoga, it is like, all the 9 processes combined become bhakti yoga. Understand? Yes. Karma yoga also ultimately leads, while doing karma yoga, you start enjoying it so much that ultimately you end up becoming a bhakti yogi. That's why bhakti yogi is the highest. And Krishna says that in 6th chapter he says that, the 12th chapter he says that, should more times. Manmana mao bhakti. Finally he concludes that in the 18th chapter.
Prabhuji, please give an example, like a person is doing karma yoga and a person is doing bhakti yoga. Like in one instance without surrender, in another instance including all the 9 processes.
Okay. Let's take, Arvind Mafatlal. Not Arvind, what is his name? Which Mafatlal? One of the Mafatlals is a devotee. Mafatlal is a big industry house in India, right?
Yes.
So, before he became a devotee, he was a karma yogi, He was offering his results, everything like that. He was giving donation, etc., etc. But he was not chanting. He was not doing anything, any of the 9 devotional processes. Then he became a devotee. Like you take case of Alfred Ford, like our Amrish Prabhu, or anybody, Srinath Prabhu. They're all Nathji Prabhu, sorry, Nathji. They're all the examples that they were all karma yogis and then they became bhakti yogi. Now they are not only offering the result, they are practicing the different processes of bhakti. That's the difference. Okay?
Thanks. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Madhu.
So in a few of these things, it is given individual consciousness, direct communion with the consciousness.
Yeah.
He said.
Universal.
Communion. What does this communion mean actually?
Communion means link.
Connect. Yeah.
Communication comes from it. Communication is like when two people are
Okay.
exchanging, that becomes communication. So communion is again same,
Okay.
This word is
So
I think I know this is coming from Sridhar Swami. This is coming from Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya. They project it like that always, that the ultimate final highest thing is to be in communion. The individual soul is in communion with the cosmic soul or Krishna, like that.
So communion doesn't mean merging.
No.
Oh.
Merging is totally merging. Nobody, no Vaishnava, no Vaishnava.
Yeah, no Vaishnava. Yes. That's what I was saying. So many places just come direct communion.
Yeah. No. Communion is not merging. No.
Okay, linking with.
Linking, yes. That means now you see. Ultimately, let me explain. That means now you ultimately understand who is Krishna and who are you. Actually, not even linking. You are. I would say establishing the relationship. Understanding your real ego of being a servant, that they don't use those words, but in our Gaudiya Vaishnavism, that comes in, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and he says, okay, Dasa, he just gave a big emphasis on becoming the Dasa, because he said that is our real position.
Yeah.
But that Swarupa hoy Krishner Das. Tara Swarupa hoy Krishner Das. Swarup means your real constitutional position.
Position.
But it's same. It's language is different. Understanding is same.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, very nice commentaries and everything was so nice. Prabhuji, like you said, that nowadays people, they accept yoga, but they they want to accept just the exercise part, not the mantra part.
Exactly.
Yesterday, I was hearing to one lecture of Srila Prabhupada, and that also he was saying people want to accept Bhagavad Gita as a source of knowledge, but they are subtracting Krishna from it. They are saying that it was not spoken by Krishna. Prabhuji, my Bua also follows Brahma Kumari. She asks why in Bhagavad Gita it is written Sanjay's name is there, Arjuna's name is there, Dhritarashtra's name is there, but not Krishna's name is there, because it comes Sri Bhagavan. So every time she is asking, she's saying because it was not spoken by Krishna and all these are just imaginary characters. So I don't know how to make her understand. I told her that it was out of respect. But she says, no, it was actually not spoken by Krishna.
That is the problem. This is what Prabhupada has this problem. When if it is not spoken by Krishna, then why is Arjuna saying, oh Janardana, oh Madhava, who is he talking to? And who is answering?
Yes.
Who is answering?
Prabhuji, I don't know what is the logic. They just say that Arjuna.
Their logic is simple. That their logic is that Krishna does not exist. Simple. So that.
Yeah, that only. In the name of empiricism, they accept Bhagavad Gita, full Gita. They accept. They say yes, this part is true, but they say Krishna is not there.
That's
I
what
don't know.
Prabhupada says that these people are more dangerous than non-devotees.
Yeah,
You know it, but you don't deny it. Like somebody comes and says, "तो आपका घर में चोर है, घुसा है," and you know that he is there, and you keep on saying, "नहीं नहीं नहीं, वो नहीं है, वो नहीं है," like that. This is the other way around.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Anyway,
Thank you.
we have respect for everybody. We don't want to bring them down or something, because that is their understanding. That is their understanding, and they are happy. So, but only precaution is that we should not get overwhelmed by that. Sometimes we get overwhelmed. We think, oh, they are saying so, must be true, like that.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay then. Hopefully we'll see you next Sunday. Next Sunday is, of course, next Saturday is Janmashtami, and next Sunday is Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja.
Yes,
So I'm sure most of you may be going to your temples or something on that day.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Saturday, Sunday. I'm planning. I'm just thinking, not planning. I should not say what use the planning, but I'm thinking to have an online Vyasa Puja of Srila Prabhupada for those who have no temple to go to or something. So I'm going to put it on my Facebook, like we do our Vyasa Puja for our Guru Maharaj. So let's see how it goes.
I'm ready, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.